we're back. The video may have started in the middle of me talking, but that's okay. All right, it doesn't matter. We're back with another book review for another great book. All right, today I'm going to talk about The Troop by Nick Cutter. A great novel, okay? A great novel. In a lot of ways, the perfect horror novel. Why? I'm going to get into it. I'm going to get into it. Just wait. Just you wait. To start, the book the book has a good cast of characters. It's all young kids and a camp counselor. There's also government characters, but it's less about that. Really, it's a small cast of characters that you you sort of you end up caring for. It's a group of boys that are kind of vicious towards each other. But that's kind of how it is with young boys. There's like this token fat kid in the group that is very much like the Piggy character in Lord of the Flies. It reminded me of that a lot. The whole book really reminded me of Lord of the Flies in a lot of ways, because what happens is there are crazy circumstances that fall upon this group of they're like Boy Scouts or whatever, and you see the way that they react in this crazy dire situation. And a lot of messed up stuff happens. The other thing I wanted to say is this book is filthy. All right, it is so disgusting in parts. It's almost you're a little bit like, hey, ease up, because I can only stomach so much. But I mean, I handled it. It was nothing that's really gonna phase me or whatever. But it was definitely hardcore. Like, there's some wild shit that happens. All right, this book has so much stuffed into it. All right, it's like a coming of age story, a fucked up one, but a coming of age story. It's a little bit like Stand By Me if these kids were stranded on an island trying to get away from a parasite that takes over your whole body and spreads in a horrific way and is very contagious as well. That's the main thing. It also has a lot of like quarantine vibes, not the movie Quarantine, but when the government has to come in and they put a cap over the town or whatever. It's a lot like that. You kind of know where it's going in a lot of ways. You're just trying to figure out how it got to that point. But without giving it away, I think what was I gonna say? The best parts of this story are the graphic detail, the things these characters go through, the character development. Like I said before, this is a vicious group of kids. They're all like kind of eating at each other throughout. But the story is able to make you care for this group of kind of harsh and cruel individuals. They're just young kids or whatever, but they're very harsh towards each other. And the villain in this book, you wouldn't think there's a villain, okay, because it's just a parasite. Well, it ends up being parasites. But there ends up being a villain, all right, and they are disgusting. I've never read something so disturbing and like makes your skin crawl and ugh. I mean, like, thinking about it right now, I've got the visuals in my head. There is a scene in this book about a character, well, where a character is describing how badly they want to tear open a dead raccoon on the side of the road, okay? Now, the reason for that is because they've been infected by this parasite, okay? And what happens is you're super hungry, okay? You need to eat. So you eat whatever's around, even dirt or bark or a dead animal, whatever it may be, and nothing satisfies, okay? Because the parasite is eating you alive from the inside. It's very disturbing, which leads me to my next point. One thing that I really enjoyed, and also, it makes you feel squeamish or whatever, but in a good way. I kind of was welcoming myself to that, or trying to be open to something that makes you feel kind of squeamish. I knew that this was a Parasite novel or whatever. It's about a body invasion, So I knew it would get pretty nasty, but not this nasty. I had no idea. Now the phone is gonna die soon, so I just want to wrap this up kind of quick. This will be my quicker book review, but all in all, it's a great story. Even the end was well done. Great characters, really fucked up situation, horrible things happen, deeply disturbing, all the great things to make an amazing horror novel. I will give this 5 out of 5 stars just because of how quick I blew through it and loved every second of it. All right. Really is a perfect horror novel in a lot of ways. But uh, to end things, I would just like to say something that'll maybe make you more interested if you're looking for a deeply disturbing novel without giving anything away. There is a character in the beginning of this book um, who's infected with the parasite and is kind of the thing that sets off this chain reaction on the island. Um, there's this sort of like a hermit type character who's on a small boat making his way to the island in the dark, just looking for something to eat. And by the time he gets to the island, he's just taking handfuls of sand and putting it in his mouth. And he grabs algae, and it's all slippery and slimy and disgusting. And he just puts it in his mouth, and he finds something like going through the sand, and it's a crab, and he just takes a fucking bite out of the crab and lets it slide down his throat. And he's so fucked up. He's barely living, and he's living off of like primal urges and instincts, and just he's at this point he's just a vessel for this parasite to kind of live in temporarily and eventually break out of. It's so fucked up. He eats this crab, and its shell is all sharp and shit, and it goes through his down his throat, and it's cutting the flesh inside of his body and tearing him up, and he doesn't even care. He's ready to do it again and just keep eating dirt and sand and seaweed and rocks, whatever. Like it's fucking crazy. Someone eats wallpaper in this, and it's kind of cool. The parasite talks to you in this kind of creepy voice, and is like, yeah, you want to eat that paper, that would be so good. There's a lot of weird shit like that, but it was so fucking cool. I love this book. I also have Little Heaven by Nick Cutter, which I haven't read yet, and I'm sure I'll get to eventually, but I doubt it'll be anywhere as good as this book. Oh my god. So that's my review. Go check that out. And yeah, I don't really know how to end it or whatever. I just want to say that it was an immaculate horror novel with everything you need. Everything you need, and deeply disturbing. Not for the faint of heart or the squeamish. On that note, go in with caution and enjoy. Take care.